Hello and welcome to Connected, episode 462. It's made possible this week by our sponsors, ExpressVPN, Indeed, and NomNom. My name is Stephen Hackett, and I am joined by Mr. Myke Hurley.
Hello.
Hey, bud.
It's just me and you this week.
Just me and you and me. So happy together.
I think maybe for the next 2 weeks. This week and next week. Next two episodes.
This week is Federico's birthday, and we want you to get something for him, dear listeners. So if you pick up your iPhone and find your third most used emoji, just note what it is, and then go to Mastodon. Federico is Vitici at MacStories.net on Mastodon, and describe to him your third most used emoji.
Thought that this could be like in the honor of the Jeremys, right? Which Federico's so good at. Like usually when someone's not on the show for a period of time, we just say send emoji to them. But instead, you can be Federico in this scenario and try and describe this emoji in text to Federico. So you should do that, and that would be really great.
We would do it on Threads, but he lives in the EU.
Yeah, so it's not going to work.
So what is yours? Describe yours for me.
Salute. Unfortunately, I have the best emoji for description right there.
I feel like you should have said something about like saluting face cut in half or something.
Okay, I can do that.
You know what I mean?
So I'm going to send that to him now.
I'm sending to him. It's a little bit longer than yours, but it is eyes looking to the left in a sus manner.
Saluting face cut in half vertically. There we go. And posted. Excellent. I hope everybody joins us in celebrating Federico's birthday by sending him very cryptic messages on Mastodon.
And I would say don't include the emoji, just the description.
Yes, don't put the emoji in there. Don't put the emoji in there.
So anyways, we hope our friend has a good birthday. We miss him and we'll be reunited soon.
Okay, so our friend Quinn posted on Threads a picture of his brown Beats with the brown Zune.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot just how brown the Zune was.
It was the most
This
brown.
is a bad looking piece of technology.
Mm-hmm.
It is not good looking, this brown Zune. I feel like history has remembered the brown Zune correctly, which is that it's bad looking. The Zune itself looked cool. This brown Zune, not good.
It's like double injected with some sort of green as well. You can kind of see from the edge. It's weird.
Well, I wonder if that is an aging.
Let's see. Brown Zune. Google
I don't know if
images.
that's like, maybe there's been some sunlight damage.
No, man. The press photos have it.
Really?
Yeah, I'll send you a copy image address.
Yeah, I would say that, this is one of those like historic things like memes and technology or whatever, right? The brown Zune. And I would say that most of these things typically like they become memes, right? And they weren't actually as bad as you remember them. This is as bad as you remember it visually.
It's not a great looking device.
No.
The Zune HD though is pretty sweet. The metal.
Is that what this is?
No, that's a regular Zune, like a Zune 30 or something.
But like I think the Zune, even this Zune, like the Zune looks fine, right? Like as actually quite a cool piece of technology design wise. I just think that they did a bad job with this one colorway. Like it wasn't the only color, right? You get it in different colors.
Mm-hmm.
But like this was just not great. I never owned a Zune.
Yeah, me neither. If you want to learn a lot about it, though, there's an ancient episode of Flashback where Quinn and I talk about it.
Whoa, February 2020. You didn't even know.
Didn't even know.
February 27th, 2020. You had no idea.
The whole world was going to be a brown Zune very soon.
If you think about it, COVID was like the brown Zune. If you think about it. So this is technically the Zune 30, the brown
Yeah,
one.
so they named their models.
And I assume that was 30 gigabytes?
Yeah, they named it by size.
Their UI design was interesting then too, right?
Oh, the
big
Metro
text
design?
UI. Yeah.
So good.
Was that Metro? Because I thought Metro was the tiles.
This was like pre-Metro. Like Metro inherited a lot of Zune stuff, like the all lowercase, big text, white on black.
Because this also was like some of the precursor to Windows Phone, right? Like this design style too. And then I think that was where, then it became Metro on Windows Phone, and then that moved over to the PC, and everyone hated it.
Yep, called
so they had to
Windows Modern Design or something, because they couldn't use the name.
Mm-hmm.
Windows Phone 7, man. So many good ideas. One of the best ideas, live widgets.
That is an incredible segue that you have just performed. Was that a thing, live widgets in Windows Phone?
Yeah, remember they had an ad. I will remember it till the day I die. It's like a dude standing at a urinal, and he like pulls his phone out, and he can just glance at like the live tiles really quickly and then move on because it just had all the information there.
That feels like a very early 2000s ad to me. Like, I don't know when this ad was made. That feels like an early 2000s ad of like the attitude that it's going for. Like, people use the bathroom. It's like, oh, yeah, I know, but like...
Got a link in the Discord for people.
Bathroom. Bathroom really? Is that the name of the ad?
I don't know. This was just, it came up on Google search.
Oh, yeah, because the guy says, really?
Oh, here's an article. Microsoft settles bathroom ad dispute. So apparently there was some issue between them and a company in Florida over this ad. Who knew this was so spicy?
Oh, he dropped the phone and...
It's edgy, man.
I don't understand.
It's edgy.
This ad is really weird.
Not as weird as the Palm Pre ad. Do you remember that one?
Oh, with the woman who didn't look real?
Yeah. It was like if you took drugs and then watched Lord of the Rings or something. I don't know.
Well, I think what they were going for was like meditative, right? Like, because the phone looked like a stone. And so I think they were going for something like yoga-y, maybe? I don't know. Maybe I'm not remembering this.
Anyways, Timery.
Yeah, Timery's going hard on widgets. So I've been using the beta, but Joe's posting about them on Mastodon too, so I'll put a link in the notes. Like, the obvious one is a button to stop the current time entries, and that's cool, and it's showing up in like all different types of widgets, which is good. But something which is super cool, which I had not really considered, is that, so in the app you can have saved timers, right? And you could always have a saved timers widget, and it would show like the 6 most recent widgets or whatever. But Joe has set up a new widget option that will allow you to have multiple pages of saved timers, and so you just have left and right buttons in the widget, so you can just page through the widget. I think we're reaching that point where people are doing weird stuff, which is good, right? And so like the idea that you can just have a bunch of widgets in the one widget and you can just page through them all, that is cool. Like, who needs stacks when you can just widget pagination, you know?
I love, my favorite thing about Timery, out of many things that I love about it, is that all of his examples are Parks and Rec references. It's just very good. It makes me laugh every time I see it.
It's good. It is very good. But yeah, I'm digging these widgets. I'm seeing more and more interesting stuff on different betas now that I think are secret. But people are doing some cool things. I think we're gonna have a good time. Like with iOS 17 with widgets again, it's gonna be a brave new world. So listener Michael wrote in. They have, I think, pulled off the best use of Base64 of all time. The sound that I use from the St. Jude air horn that signifies the start of the quizzes, Michael has turned this into a shortcut using Base64.
Oh, no.
So you can now press this button whenever and wherever you want, and it will make the noise using Base64, a Base64 encoded sound. I don't know if this is like a preference. The iCloud link is in the... I'm going to put it in the show notes. I don't know if this is a preference. When I installed it on my Mac, it installed it as a menu bar shortcut, which just was very funny to me as a thought of like, oh, I must need it like immediately, you know, whenever, at all times.
So you could just be walking down the street and need a quiz a random stranger and just go for it.
That noise.
Wait, no.
I'm not doing the actual sound. That's why I haven't played the sound, because I don't... Federico would call foul if the quizzes began right now, you know?
I think we could hear it as an example, and then we can move on.
All right, well, let me get my iPhone. Pulled it off my anchor.
So I need an Apple Watch Ultra, man. Tie it to the action button.
But, like, would the Apple Watch Ultra even play the sound?
Sounds good.
That's what it does. That's the shortcut.
Last week we spoke about mobile hotspots. I don't remember the context of this, but we talked about them. And we were curious if they were still widely in use, outside of things like maybe it's a security device for your company, corporate intranet or something. And we got some feedback from Sim saying that portable hotspots are actually super popular in the film industry because trucks and people and everything are moving to new locations all the time. The easiest option is to give every department or every person who needs access to the internet a mobile hotspot so they can work from their computers, from their laptops, whatever, and not have to worry about tethering or killing their phones or whatever. And then it's just, part of the expense of the production. So a use case I definitely had not considered, but one that makes a lot of sense to me.
Because we were talking about the mobile internet things for the HomePod.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's some follow-up. We did it. We did it without Federico, which makes me sad. A little sad. What would Federico follow up about? Would he have said anything about the Zune? We'll never know.
Well, I mean, he could collect it all up and bring it back to the show in a couple of weeks' time.
Maybe in 2 weeks, it's just all Federico follow-up. This episode of Connected is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Streaming services like Netflix often have tens of thousands of shows, but depending on where you are, you only get to see a small selection of what's available. It's almost like paying for a gym membership and only using the treadmill. That's where ExpressVPN comes in. When you use ExpressVPN, you can change your online location, which can change where streaming services think that you are located. They have almost 100 different server locations, so you can discover thousands of new shows to watch on Netflix, BBC iPlayer, YouTube, and many more. This means that if I want to watch Inception on Canadian Netflix, I can do it just by opening the app, selecting a location, tapping one button to connect, and refreshing the webpage to get access. And there are loads of reasons to choose ExpressVPN over other VPNs. The blazing fast speed means you can stream in HD with zero buffering. It's compatible with all your devices, phones, laptops, smart TVs, and more. And ExpressVPN has the added benefit of encrypting your data so you can browse the web securely. So make the smart choice and stop paying full price for streaming services and only getting access to a fraction of their content. Get your money's worth at expressvpn.com/connected. That's expressvpn.com/connected to get an extra 3 months of ExpressVPN for free. Our thanks to ExpressVPN for their support of the show and Relay FM. So our friend Casey has a new app out. Callsheet has launched. You and I both been fortunate enough to use it during his beta cycle. But can you tell us a little bit about this app?
So if you are the type of person like me, like I think there are a lot of people that are like this, but you're watching something on TV, TV show or a movie, like, I've seen this person before. What do I know them from? This is what Callsheet is for. It's for looking up those stuff. So it is an application which uses the movie database, gives a front end to that, so you can search for TV shows and movies, the cast and crew within them, whether you're looking for actors, directors, producers. You can look at a show, you can see who's in it, you can tap through, see what they've done, and kind of like go through the stack of like finding different people, what they've been in, and carrying on going through and through and through. And Casey has built a really, really nice, well-designed, thoughtful application to display this kind of information. We have our ways of doing it. Both me and Casey have used the IMDb app for a long time. Like, we've both been IMDb users, and I think this was one of the places it came from. Like, we would frequently lament, as I'm sure he has with many other people, like that app is just full of ads, and it's just like not very well maintained, I think. And so Casey took it upon himself to build. It's kind of one of those things where he, I believe, just decided to put out into the world what he wants, and so Callsheet was born.
Yeah, I wrote this in my link to it, but I really believe it that Callsheet is sort of the best of the indie app scene because it takes on a really big app written by lots of people who don't care, but does a better job at it in every single way. Like, think about back in the day, Twitterific or Tweetbot versus the Twitter app, right? Mm-hmm. Twitter app, huge app, right? Lots of people working on it back in the day. Tweetbot and Twitterific, small teams building really polished experiences all throughout their app. And I think Callsheet is sort of next in line in that thread. And I think that's really cool. I mean, I'll say this, like, it's Casey's best app, hands down. It is so good. The more you dig into it,
it's fantastic. Yeah.
it does more than I thought it did. I learned about it while reading it, even though I've been using it for months, because it's so feature rich. It's like everything that you could think about in an app like this, he thought about. And I'm really proud of him. I'm really happy for him. And I hope it does really well. And I think it will.
I mean, he's done a very good job. Like, it's been in beta for a long time, and he's done a lot of work refining it. It's one of those kinds of applications where it's trying to surface and show a lot of information well, and those kinds of apps are hard to make. And I think that he clearly put the work in, and it's just very good. This is one of those applications, like, look, we're all friends, right? And so, like, when a friend does a thing, you want to compliment that friend and share it with other people. But this is just an application that I would be happy to use even if Casey hadn't made it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just really good. Like, it is a very, very good app. He's done a very good job with it. We recommend that you try it out. And he's also, like, the business model's good. I think he's implemented subscriptions in a good way where the app is, like, completely usable for 20 searches. And then after that, it's an in-app subscription. And I think it's like a very good free trial model. And then, of course, right, you with an in-app subscription, you also then get a free trial for a week, right? So you can like keep using it. But like the 20 free, like full-on searches, it's great. And I think for a lot of people, will last them a little bit of time too. Like, unless you want to blast through 20 searches, you've got like a big afternoon planned. I don't know, but it will last you probably a couple of weeks. You'll search a few things, realize that you like the utility of it, and go for it. And like an application like this has to be good because like you're competing with Google ultimately, right? Like it's super easy to Google for these things, but it's about the way that the information is shared and what the realistic use case is, which is then like going through a bunch of different things in an experience in an environment that's nice to use. And he's done a good job.
I think one of the best features of it is the ability to turn off select information to avoid spoilers. So you can hide cast character names, cast episode counts, episode titles, and episode thumbnails. So if you're sensitive to those sorts of things, you can hide them. And he talks about in his blog post about the reason he did that sometimes secret identities or the fact that a character is going to get killed off early, and maybe you're watching the show years later and you don't want to get spoiled that this one person is only there for 3 episodes, right? And so you can tailor that. And one of my favorite things in it is the ability when you're on like a media page, the quick access link is what he calls it, where you can jump to Wikipedia or a parental guidance information or a trivia page. But I actually set it to go where to watch. That's actually powered by the Just Watch database, which is another app, iPhone app that's kind of along these lines. It lets you search for something and it tells you where you can stream it for, if you have an account, or where you can purchase it or rent it or things like that. And I use Just Watch all the time. And so now it's all kind of in one place for me. And I think that's pretty sweet.
So on the spoilers, I have like a good example of something that happened to me.
Okay.
Which please permit me to spoil House of Cards real quick. So we were watching. So if you look, spoilers for the very old Netflix show House of Cards that like people don't really watch anymore because like Kevin Spacey no good. But at the time we didn't know that. So I was watching House of Cards and was hearing like what his role was, and like was like we were watching season 1, and there've been like 3 or 4 seasons at this point or something. We were late to it, and he's like chief whip or something, right? Is his role? And I was like, but I didn't understand that from the context of the show. So like I Googled Kevin Spacey, House of Cards job, and it was like president. I was like, damn it. So like we're in season 1 and it's just like spoiled like the biggest like plot point of like the next 3 seasons.
That's hilarious.
This is why Callsheet would be good, because if Callsheet was around then and I would have used it, then I would not have known that Kevin Spacey becomes the president, or was it? Well, Kevin Spacey doesn't become the president, but Frank Underwood becomes the president. I'd have no idea about it, and then I could have watched in peace and bliss.
Can you believe my show was spoiled?
Look at that. Was that an impression?
That's me playing Kevin Spacey, playing Frank Underwood.
Okay. That's really good.
You can't see it, but I looked directly at the camera when I did it. Beta 5 has been released for iOS, iPadOS, watchOS, macOS, and of course, tvOS, as we mentioned in the Pro show. Pro version connected, by the way, you may be wondering. Ad-free, longer version of the show. This week, we spoke about some tvOS leaks in relation to the Vision Pro. Kind of interesting stuff. But for Beta 5, I feel like there's actually quite a bit here. I want to start with the changes in the App Store because I think they've thrown both you and me for a bit of a loop. And so in the App Store, like if you're on a search page or just an app listing, the buttons used to be all capital letters. You would say get or open or update, right? In all caps, like open this app. But now it's a title case. It's just a big O, little PEN, and I don't know how I feel about it.
I don't like it because it's new, right? Like because it's, you know what I mean? Like that's the issue. Like I opened the App Store today and it says like get and like open and update, right? Like regular words, but now it looks wrong, so I don't like it. But realistically, this is the way it should have always been. Like there was no reason why these buttons should have been in all caps. It's not like a convention of iOS, right? Like every other word on the screen around them is also written just regularly, right? Like in title case, or just, I don't even know if you'd call this title case. It's just a word written, right? Like, you know what I mean? It's like there's no more words. So it's not really title case, I guess, or is it? How do you define
the word is
that?
capitalized, I think is.
Yeah. Because it's just one word in a box, or like a ellipses or whatever.
Capitalization, frustration. My grammar's bleeding.
Indeed. Are you like doing some?
I don't know what's
happening
happening.
Right now?
I don't feel very good. I'm kind of losing my voice, and like it's just a weird day.
I think it's coming across. So like get, open, update, right? Like now they're just regular, and there's something about that that's weird. But realistically, this is probably the way it should have always been. Do you remember when they changed it from free to get? That was a weird day.
People freaked out.
Why did they do that? Yeah, because it's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. You can still get an app that costs money.
Mm-hmm. In 2014, okay, the first two Google results, Business Insider and Time Magazine. That's how big of a deal it was. Apple made a huge, massive change to how one word made a massive change to the Apple Store.
Massive.
It's a big little change.
Wait, can you read that? So, I'm sorry, I stepped all over you there. Can you read that again? Because I was so surprised.
How one word made a massive change to Apple's App Store.
Did they say massive twice in the same sentence?
No, I think we sort of went over each other. I need to talk about the home screen in this Time Magazine article. So you have contacts and calculator in a folder by themselves with extras, called extras. Voice memo, words with friends, Facebook, FaceTime, Shazam, Twitter, Drudge Report, DirecTV, Google Maps, the Weather Channel, Starbucks, Night Sky, and then another version of Words with Friends. Whose phone is this?
Whoever the reporter is.
Lynchy. Anyways, yes, people freaked out about that, you know. I'm putting it in the Discord right now.
Yeah, look at that.
Who's reading the Drudge Report so often they need it on their home screen? Not important. Okay. Moving along.
This is one of those things where like I feel like you don't want the answer to that question.
Yeah, I don't want to.
I don't really know much about the Drudge Report. I just know that it exists.
It's better we just move on.
Okay.
Apple.
No. I want to dig down in this one. Can we talk about this? Also, there's another app that looks like Words with Friends.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, it's like some other word game.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, it's not just another word game. It's like the same thing. It's another Zynga game, right? It used to be a dog, I think, and it's not a dog anymore.
So Apple has also been tweaking the live voicemail feature, which I should say up until beta 4, I'm not sure actually worked. I just don't think I get voicemails anymore, which is fine with me, honestly.
Do you want to check?
Yeah, call me.
I could just call you.
Well, no, you have to like call me with my phone number, though, not FaceTime.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay.
I'll build the Connector podcast for the call.
Oh, good.
All right, let me do that because I have actually not tried this.
I think you should put your phone on speaker and obviously put it up to the microphone.
Yeah, hopefully it won't reach your phone number though. Right?
It shouldn't.
We'll work that out. We'll know, right? We'll get.
Yeah,
like, a
it'll
couple of
start with
numbers in.
my area code is
Oh,
901.
nice contact poster.
Thank
This
you.
is the first time I've seen one of those. I don't think I've seen one before because
Yeah.
I don't think that was working in a previous beta either. It would just when I would go to it, it would just show me just an little circle one for you. All right, let's call you. See what happens.
Okay.
What could go wrong?
So I have my phone.
It's a very international.
I'm gonna send you to voicemail.
You've reached the voicemail of Stephen Hackett. Leave a message and I'll get back with you.
I'm pretty sure that this has just gone through to your carrier's voicemail.
Nope. As you're talking, I see the text that you were saying.
Really?
So I'm going
But
to
it never
answer.
beeped.
I'm going to
It never
answer.
beeped or anything. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
How are you?
Fine.
This is
You
annoying
should
to
try
listen
calling
to.
me now. Try calling me
Okay.
now. Because who set that up? Did you set that up? That this is Stephen Hackett?
Yeah, but I recorded it like 15 years ago. All right, let's call you.
So if I just press the
The voicemail button.
yeah.
User busy. Cancel or call back.
Okay.
So things are going well.
Try it again. I might press the wrong button. I may press the wrong button.
I've never seen user busy on a phone call.
I'm too busy for you. Go away.
I'm recording a podcast here.
I just see message remind. Do I have to set this up somehow?
Oh, you probably do.
Yeah. All right. Come back to me at the end of this topic. See if I can do this.
This feature is very confusing. Apparently, Apple thinks it is too, because what the release notes say and what reporting has said, but though we couldn't confirm it, is that the prior default voicemail message had wording that said the person you're calling may pick up. And so now I guess they got rid of that. It plays your voicemail message. I see the transcription, which is the first time that's ever worked for me. And then I can pick up and interrupt the voicemail. But it's very strange and fuzzy how this actually works. I'm sure people will get used to it. In fact, I think it's going to be really cool once people just kind of know how this works. But for now, it's a little weird.
Ramon is saying that it's a US only feature.
Oh. Steve asked, did you have to think for a minute whether you said your name or phone number in your voicemail? Yes, because in the US, I think the default, if you don't record one, is the phone or the person at 901 ... my phone number is busy. Leave a message.
I think for mine, it's just welcome to the EE voicemail. EE is the name of my carrier.
Right.
E. It actually stands for everything everywhere, but they just that was the name of the company.
Oh, that's the worst.
But they just dropped that. They're not referred to as everything everywhere anywhere now. They're a result of a merger.
Right. So they're everything everywhere nowhere.
Exactly.
Got it.
It's T-Mobile here, the T-Mobile here merged with another network called Orange in a deal that would never be allowed to be done today, I'm expecting, and they created EE. But it was very important at the time because EE were the first 4G, LTE network. And so kind of two networks had to come together to allow up the bandwidth space, really, to put an LTE. This was a long time ago. This was whenever the iPhone got LTE, they were right there on day one.
Oh, yeah.
Because they needed the spectrum space.
Are you still on LTE?
No, I'm on 5G.
Okay.
I signed up for a new plan and got 5G, just because I didn't particularly want 5G, nor do I really feel like it helps me in any way in my life. But I signed up because I could have got a way better plan.
Got it.
They were, I was off plan for years, and they just kept sending me deals, and I ended up getting a deal that was just mega good. I think for £50 a month, I think my plan is. Everything unlimited, even abroad.
That's pretty sweet.
It's a great plan. It's a great plan. So
Yeah, it's a great plan.
I get unlimited data, uncapped unlimited data when I'm in America.
Live correction, live voicemail is only available in the US and Canada at launch. Call Tyler Stallman. Moving on. Another feature in iOS 17 that I know, Myke, you've talked about other places is the mood logging feature in the Health app. So this is in the Health app. You also have the ability to turn on notifications where it can remind you a couple times a day, hey, check in, how you feeling? They've tweaked that design a bit more. And I was curious, have you been using this? And if you have, and you're willing to share, how's it felt?
So, I am only using it for Cortex. It's not I'm going to talk about it on the next episode. So I'm only using it for follow-up. particularly have a need right now for it because I'm seeing a therapist once a week, so like I'm getting enough, right? Like I don't also need my phone to give me therapy at the moment, and so I'm trying it. What I like about this feature and what I think is good about this feature is the visual nature, like the graphics, like when. So the notifications are good. Like I don't know if it's on a timer. I haven't really paid attention to that, but like multiple times a day, it will pop up and be like, "Hey, how are you feeling?" It will ask you, "How are you feeling right now?" But you can also go into the health app and do that whenever you want. Which, just like medications, by the way, not easy. I feel like to find on the phone.
Yeah.
Like I wish that there was a way to more easily just get into that. I don't think there's a watch app. I'm not on the watch beta, but I don't think they broke that one out.
I am.
Is there a mood app on the? That would be super weird if there was on the watch another easy to use app. But the notifications, they pop up. They ask you like how you feeling right now or how have you felt today. Like they're the two things that you can do. It's the same as when you go into the health app and you go to that section and you go to logging. It will ask you like, do you want to log how you're feeling right now or how you felt all day? And then you kind of had the slider for like, from like very negative to very positive, and there's like a slider, and as you adjust the slider, the animation changes and the colors change. I think that there's a lot of thought that's gone into that. I'm sure there's science that's gone into that, but the way that I look at it is like it helps kind of like break down a barrier when there's a visual and or words. Like you can kind of like, depending on the type of person you are, maybe you resonate more with the imagery than the words or vice versa, and I think that's kind of cool.
So on watchOS, real quick, they've built it into the mindfulness app. So if you open the mindfulness app, there's a state of mind section, and you can do your logging in there.
That's great, but I still don't understand why this stuff is like not easy to get to, like proactively.
That's true of so much in the health app. The health app is so jumbled full of stuff. I find it kind of frustrating.
And also, and I know you can customize it, and I have, but I still want too many pieces of data, and also they move around throughout the day. Like it's just not simple. But I like the visuals of it. Like I like the UI when you're in it. But the problem is like it asks you to describe kind of like how. Like you tell it how you're feeling, and it's like what is describing the feeling. It's like you then give like so you say you're very pleasant, then it gives you a bunch of words you can choose from, and there's loads of these. There's like loads and loads of words. I don't know, like say like 20 or 30 words that you can choose from. Like there are like a bunch that are highlighted, but then you can go in and choose more. Then it asks you what is making the biggest impact, and there's just not enough words. There's like 15 words that you can choose from. And I've hit a bunch of instances where I've wanted to say like, oh, I'm feeling good or I'm feeling bad. And I can't find something that matches the impact. So like I had one where it was like I was frustrated about something with a home thing, like a renovation thing at home. But there isn't like a home as the impact. So like I didn't feel like I could accurately log it. And they have a text field for additional context, but that only appears after you've chosen something. So like, I don't really feel like that they've done a good enough job with the amount of things that you can select. But again, it's like all of this stuff, right? They have done a good job, I think, of making like a base thing that exists. And if people want more, they can go and get it elsewhere. I'm just happy that it exists because I think this stuff is helpful for people.
This episode of Connected is brought to you by Indeed. No one wins in the waiting game. So when it comes to hiring, don't wait for great talent to find you. Find them first with Indeed. When you're hiring, you need Indeed. Their hiring platform is where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. So instead of spending hours across multiple job sites searching for candidates with the right skills, you can use Indeed's powerful hiring platform that can help you do it all. Indeed streamlines hiring with powerful tools to help you find your matched candidates. With Instant Match, over 80% of employers get quality candidates whose resume on Indeed matches their job description the moment they sponsor a job, according to Indeed Data US. Indeed's hiring platform really is great because it gets you one step closer to the hire by immediately matching you with quality candidates. Even better, Indeed is the only job site where you only pay for applications that meet your must-have requirements, making it an unbelievably powerful hiring platform, delivering 4 times more hires than all other job sites combined, according to Talent Nest 2019. Join more than the 3 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Start hiring now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/connected. This offer is good for a limited time, so claim your $75 credit now at Indeed, INDEED, Indeed.com/connected. To support the show by saying you heard about it on this, your favorite podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Our thanks to Indeed for the support of the show and Relay FM.
Audit me, Daddy.
Oh,
Hey, Daddy, audit me.
that did something to me I was not expecting.
So, with Federico not here, I thought we could talk about something Mac related.
Yes.
And I thought that maybe you could make my Mac life better. And so I have asked for you to audit my Macintosh. Or my usage of said Macintosh. And then make recommendations for how I should change what I'm doing.
I am a Mac Power user, so
This is what I thought. I thought as a Mac Power, it's like, how often do you get to talk to a Mac Power user? I may as well take advantage.
in your
of it.
case, every day. But
Yeah, but not with your Mac Power user hat on. Right?
let me get the
that's
hat.
Not
Yeah.
like that's not like always. I don't always get that. In fact, what I would say is I never get that version of you. I listen to Mac Power users. You're never that version, so I want you to be that version. Treat me like you're David, and and like paint me or something.
Let's start with hardware.
Okay.
I know you have changed your Mac hardware and your general Mac setup several times. You have the studio. You were working at home for a long time. You had the studio. We had COVID. You're back in the studio again. What Mac hardware is in your life right now?
So I use 2 Macs every day. I have
those
a
Macs.
MacBook Air, and I have a MacBook Pro.
Okay.
MacBook Pro is permanently docked to 2 monitors inside of my recording area in the studio, which is like soundproofed area in the studio, which is not nice to sit and work in all the time because there's like curtains and whatever. So I also have like a bigger desk where I have my MacBook Air, which plugs into a studio display. But then my MacBook Air is also the computer that comes home with me every day. And if I ever need to do a little bit of work at home, then I'll grab the MacBook Air. It's rare, but it happens.
So the MacBook Pro is essentially a desktop.
Yes.
Okay. Why is it not just a desktop?
Because the Mac Studio I want costs like £3,000, and I just have yet to do that.
Yeah.
Like it's a like I now that they have. By the way, like I'm not telling you to do this, but I have 100% thought to myself, well, I'm going to do whatever you tell me to do, and if you tell me to buy a Mac Studio before next week's episode, I don't want to do that.
Sure.
But it is kind of the power I'm putting in your hands.
Yeah.
I ask you to wield it lightly, but it is the power I'm putting
It is
in
a
your
really good computer.
Oh, I know it's a really good computer. It's why you got rid of yours and replaced it for a MacBook Pro.
Yeah.
But like I have decided that I want a Mac Studio, and the main reason I haven't done it is that if I buy a Mac Studio, I also want to buy another studio display. It's like it's too much money, and just like I will get to it. I just don't want to do it yet.
Sure.
But now that they have revised the Mac Studio, I am confident that it is a product that will remain. Like many of us, right? I just wasn't completely sure.
Yeah, we
I
just
wasn't
didn't
sure if I wanted to buy into that.
Yeah.
Like, was it going to be another iMac Pro moment?
Yeah. Man, the iMac Pro makes me sad. It was such a good computer. You had one, right?
Yeah, I had one for years. I think it was maybe the longest I've used a Mac. I had it for like 4 years. Or something.
I loved the iMac Pro. It was so good. I understand why you have multiple setups. I will say I have the same issue you do. I work in a bigger room. It's not as quiet as I would like it to be for podcasting. I have portable, like stand-up foam pieces. Like they're hard to explain. They're in frames. They're like framed acoustic panels that are on wheels, and so I can put them behind my desk when I'm recording. And
I tried that. It wasn't enough for me. I need like acoustic curtains in this room. Like realistically, I need to build a room inside of this room, but I just don't want to do that.
Can I audit your workspace?
I mean,
when is your lease up? Let's start there.
Well, I'm not really on a lease anymore. I'm like on a rolling. Like it is a goal of mine one day to actually buy a studio, but this is years into the future. Just because like I'm giving someone a rent payment every month and I can't really do the things I want to do because I don't want to start drilling into these walls because I have to put this studio back to it the way I found it. And also there's only so much I can do anyway. So like one day I will find myself an actual studio space somewhere, but that's into the long-term future. I'm happy where I am for the moment.
So you've got a MacBook Pro that's effectively a desktop.
Yes, the other thing I wanted to mention is like, why do I want separate machines? It just popped into my head there because obviously you have the one machine.
That's where I was going. I was like, okay, so you have these two. Why do you have two?
My recording computer, I want in a completely stable state. Like it does not run the most recent version of the operating system. The apps that are on it are set up in just a certain way. Like I don't want to. I thought about this for a while. I was like, I could just have one laptop and I could just have it be the one machine and I move it from place to place, like desk to desk. I tried that. I didn't like doing that. It was just annoying. Because this was also at a time where before the studio display existed and no displays in my life would ever work properly if I unplugged them.
Yeah.
I'm still using those displays, but now they stay plugged in all the time, so it isn't a problem, except for when I need to restart my Mac, and then it's just like, I spend like 10 minutes plugging and unplugging things until it works again. But I also kind of realized that I've always valued the peace of mind that keeping a Mac in a stable software and operating system state provides me. But I'm also primarily a Mac user now, so I also want the most recent version of the operating system immediately. So I kind of need two Macs to deal with these two parts of my personality.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I went from two machines down to one, and it comes with some costs there, for sure. So you got the MacBook Pro. You got the MacBook Air as the sort of everywhere else machine. So you're recording, how do you get files from one to the other?
Dropbox.
And you got gigabit, so it's pretty quick.
Everything goes into Dropbox for me anyway, right? Like that's just like a thing. Like every file I have goes into Dropbox.
Got it.
Like I don't even unless something's on the desktop, but nothing important goes on the desktop, like ever. The only thing that like I frequently use on the desktop is so for Upgrade we have these like shortcuts that I use that Jason wrote that create timestamps. You use them too, right? Mm-hmm. And it throws a text file onto my desktop, but all I ever do is just copy the text out of that and just put it in Slack for Jim, and then that's the end of it. Like it's not a file that I need. So it's all in Dropbox.
All in Dropbox. So the Mac Studio would be expensive. Would the M2 Pro Mac Mini fit? Like would that give you enough storage and power and everything you need for that station? I'd imagine that it would.
If I'm going to do it, I want a Mac Studio if I'm going to do it. Like, because this MacBook Pro, I have the M1 Max. Like, I really want to go up. Like, and also, like, when I do this, my plan is it will be like the iMac Pro for me, where it's like I'm going to have the machine for like 5 years or something, and it's just going to do its thing. So like if I'm going to do it, I want to do it. And plus I want, one of the good things for me about the Mac Studio, and it was what really like 100% sealed this for me, was something David said on Mac Power Users about like, and you were talking to him about it, of like, I could get rid of the dock that I use because I will have enough I/O for everything I need on the machine. And I would like that because I'm very happy with the dock. I have an OWC dock and it works great. But it's just an extra hassle. Like today I had a thing where like, I don't know why, but my Ethernet stopped working. So I had to unplug and replug the Ethernet cable in and then restart my Mac because something went weird with the dock. I've had it happen a couple of times. It's like, whatever. But I just want, all of this stuff is always easier and always better when it's just plugged directly into the computer. So like, it's just another reason why a Mac Studio will be a thing for the future.
Yeah, I've got a CalDigit. Is the TS4 the current one? Yeah. I think it's the one I've got. And yeah, so I have one cable to the laptop, and then everything else comes off of that. And it's definitely not as nice as the Mac Studio, where things are just permanently there.
Yeah, I really like the OWC dock. I know everyone always talks about the CalDigit dock.
CalDigit.
But I have the 11-port Thunderbolt dock from OWC, and I prefer it to the CalDigit. I think it looks nicer. And I found the CalDigit to be unreliable with monitor stuff. The OWC is better.
Okay.
They're all unreliable when it's not a studio display, but
Yeah.
this is better.
So that's the hardware. You've talked about why you have multiple setups. I do think that having a desktop would be nice for you in that station, but I understand that that's a bunch of money if you want something to last a long time. And
another reason I haven't done it, by the way, is I'll also have to redo the desk completely, and I'm just like, I can't be bothered with it right now.
You got to find a Sunday afternoon to do that,
Yeah, it's none of the way I have this set up is going to work. Like, it's all going to have to change. Because plus, the desk that I use to record on is a small desk. I got like the smallest desk that Fully made. Like, it's not very big. So every inch of this desk is very effectively planned and used. It is the best layout I've ever had on a desk, right? It's just like all set nicely. But that will all have to change. And I'm confident I can make it work, but it's just like another reason why I haven't been like super like keen on going to the Mac Studio route. But the issue I have, and I know I have, is the longer I leave it, the less money I can make out of this MacBook Pro.
That's true.
Like that's where the clock is ticking. But just trying to line everything up hasn't been awesome. I don't know if you knew, but I bought a house last year, and we're decorating the whole house. So it's like, money is going where it needs to go right now.
We're in unprecedented economic times.
Yeah.
Etc.
Mine are extra unprecedented.
Let's switch gears to software. You have provided a couple of images that we can put in the Discord and in the show notes of your menu bar and your dock. Is this from the MacBook Air, I assume?
Yes.
Okay. Because that's your daily, really. You're just
They're
sitting down.
Effectively the same.
Okay.
But the MacBook Pro has a couple of different things. Like I have Skype in the dock of my MacBook Pro, which I don't have in my MacBook Air.
Okay.
But like, there's like a couple of things that are different. But yeah, no, I did them. I did two things. One, it is on the MacBook Air and also plugged into the studio display.
Got it.
Which was important because when it's just a MacBook Air, all of the things in my menu bar, you don't see them all.
It's chaos.
The notch eats them.
Yeah, I use what did we just said it? What is the name of this app? Bartender. Yeah. All the time.
No, but even then, like, even with Bartender, like if I have a retimer running,
that's because you have too many things. Okay, so I'm going to put this in the Discord so people can see your menu bar. You don't need all this stuff visible all the time.
What are you talking about?
Some of the stuff, like battery and audio, that can go into Control Center.
Why?
Easily.
No, so I'm going to tell you no on that one, right? Like,
hey, who's doing the auditing here, son?
Well, okay, but I don't just have to do... Well, I guess that is the point, isn't it? I do have to do whatever you're telling me.
Yeah.
I don't like that, though. Can I answer for my crimes?
Please.
If you would call them that. So, battery is that, like, the MacBook Air surprises me sometimes where it's like, oh, no, I just didn't charge. And I'm not aware of that until it's too late. And I think this comes from, like, being plugged in all the time. Like, sometimes it doesn't charge. Like, it purposefully isn't charging. Like, the Mac is trying to do some smart stuff of assuming, like, oh, I don't need to charge right now. Like, it assumes that I don't need battery. So, like, sometimes I'm at home and I've got my laptop open and my battery's super low. But I guess it will tell me, right?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to agree with you on that one.
Okay.
I will. Although, you should be keeping these for the end. You're supposed to make your recommendations for me at the end. So, you should be keeping notes.
All right. I'm going to put an image in my menu bar. I'm doing it now with Bartender expanded so people can see it. So, you got your a lot of stuff in the menu bar all the time. What is that? Moom? Do I see Moom as your window manager?
Moom is my window manager.
Okay, that's good. I think that's spoilers for the upcoming episode of Mac Power Users, but that's the one everyone should try first. So that's good. You've got some stuff in here though that I'm not super familiar with right off the bat. What's the downward arrow in a box and the circle next to it?
That is Drop Zone.
This is a Voorhees app, right? Like he's a fan of it, I think.
I heard about it on a Mac Power Users episode.
Interesting.
It was one of the, like, this was ages ago, like cheap utilities for the Mac episode or something like that, like 10 under 15 or something like that. I don't remember what the conceit was, but it was like you guys were just running through a bunch of Mac apps that you like. And I've got to say there is something particularly fun in that because you always say like, Did you not hear it on Mac power users? Like, I must have forgotten, proving that you can also forget.
It's true.
Right?
Well, on Sunday's episode, we rounded up like 15 window managers, and it's pushed all other Mac utilities out of my brain. I don't remember.
There are the only Mac utilities that exist are window managers.
Yeah. Okay. So you got that. You got some inside of Bartender. You guys got a whole bunch here. Could you just quickly run through them, maybe left to right?
Yeah, that's the Wacom app.
Okay.
For a Wacom tablet. Then Carabiner Elements.
Oh boy, you're doing the hyperkey thing.
Yeah, I do this for the aforementioned shortcuts that I use to trigger the note things for taking notes when I'm recording with Jason of like edit points and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I have so it's bound, like caps lock is therefore replaced to shift control command option or whatever. And so I press like caps lock A to bring up the notes thing. However, when I have that, but then I also have a macro pad, which is also bound to those same things.
Okay.
So I can press those buttons, but I also want it so if I'm recording while traveling, it's the same thing, like caps lock A, caps lock S, that kind of stuff to fire those off. Then it's Time Machine, but you knew that.
Yes.
Then I have Clean My Mac.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have Set App.
And then Obsidian?
Obsidian, yeah.
That's a terrible menu bar icon, Obsidian. What are you doing?
Yeah. Well, it's the new logo, right? Have you seen the new logo? I like the new logo.
Yeah, it's bad.
Oh, I like it. Raycast, which is an even worse logo in my
That's
opinion.
the worst one up here, I think.
It's like IBM.
There's something really 1981 about it.
Yeah, I don't understand the Raycast logo at all. Then Hand Mirror, which is a really cool little utility, which lets you just show your camera. It gives you your camera in a little drop-down window, so you can see how you look before going on a call. Pop Clip,
okay,
which lets you do stuff with text. Like it ostensibly gives you cut, copy, paste when you highlight text. But I have a few things there, so if I highlight a bunch of links, it will allow me to open all those links at once, which is very helpful. And I also have it for title casing stuff.
Okay.
Then I have iStat menus.
Yeah, you got CPU, memory, SSD, and then your network activity.
Yeah.
Why do you care
about what?
About any of that? You have a awesome Apple Silicon machine.
The main one I want is network activity, and it's if I think something's going wrong, but I just leave it there. It's just in there, it's in Bartender. I never see it.
Yeah.
So if I ever need it, it's there, but I don't. Backblaze,
good call,
and then Spotlight, Text Expander, Rocket, which is the emoji app, and AirBuddy.
You have really put together a who's who of Mac utilities here. So I commend you for that. There's some really good stuff in here.
It's because I listen to this podcast.
These guys just talk about
menu
bars all the time. It's menu bar power users. We just do other stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
I think my concern about your menu bar is that there are some things that should probably be in Bartender and some things that probably shouldn't be. For example, I would think, and this is the way I do it, Time Machine is pretty important to me. I want to know if my backups have just stopped or if one's currently running. And maybe if I give it 30 seconds, I can, then eject the drive and move on. That I feel is more important than something like Moom or Screenshot X or PCalc.
Are you making a recommendation? Because we've already had this conversation.
Yeah, but I feel okay.
Or you can split it if you want.
I will split it. We're going to split it. I'm
now.
already down this road. I feel like the priority of what is in the menu bar and what is not is just a little bit confused in places. That's all.
Well, I would say I feel like I never need Time Machine. I don't ever want to think about it. I don't want to check that it's happening. It should just be working.
Should be.
Right? But also Time Machine will tell you if it hasn't been backing up.
After 14 days.
Yeah, but that's fine because I use Backblaze.
Okay. And I guess you're like me.
Everything's in Dropbox
Everything's
anyway.
in Dropbox, yeah. Okay.
So I'm willing to take your recommendations, but I feel like there are some things where maybe I can give additional context for. It's I can put it in the menu bar, but I don't need it there.
Well, in that case, I would try to find a couple of things that could go into Bartender, really, so your timery menu bar item can be visible at all times. That feels like an important thing.
I think I'm gonna. I'm gonna make your suggestion of removing the battery.
Mm-hmm.
Why volume though? Do you think? You don't think I need that?
I don't think so. I mean, it's just fine control center. And if you're hooked up to an interface, it doesn't work anyway. So
yeah, but this Mac isn't. But like I have it because it's also like a quick way to attach my AirPods.
even though you're running
AirBuddy. I feel like I can never really get my AirPods where I want them to be.
Yeah. Do you use the auto switching thing?
Yes.
Yeah, I've turned it back on in the beta, and I think it's better now than it used to be, but sometimes it just doesn't do what I want it to do.
I love it, except with the Mac. Like, that's the problem. Like, on iOS and iPadOS, it's awesome. But on the Mac, it's kind of never really doing what I want it to do, so I want a bit more control over it.
You also have, what is the icon in between 1Password and Fantastical? What's the clock icon?
The clock. It's called the clock. It's a wall clock.
Got it. Okay. I was like, why do you have...
I would say I could move that to bartender. I don't need that enough.
Yeah, so I use else when to make time list, but I also use it to quickly just like see what time it's going to be in a place.
Well, let me ask you this question. Has else when changed their menu bar icon?
No, so this is what I'm going to say. Else when developers, you are in our Discord. Your app does not need to have its name in my menu bar. You don't need to be as wide as the date Apple puts up there. Just put your icon. Get rid of the name. Mm-hmm. Please. Please.
Please.
Please.
Please. We love the app. Elsewhen is an incredible app. It's one of my favorite apps.
This is almost a deal breaker.
For putting it in the menu bar. So I don't use the menu bar utility.
You got to banish it. That's no good.
Apparently you can now remove the name from the menu bar app. We are now being given live. I don't know, but I'm being told that.
Steven, you can remove the name from the menu bar. Okay, someone tell me where it is and we go. Okay, I will come back to that. That's good. I'm glad that's there. I just need to get it working. Other than that, I feel like your menu bar is okay. I think the top level needs some tidying up. That's what I would say.
All right. So the clock is gonna be replaced for Elsewhen. So that's one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put the battery and sound into control center, into control center, and I'm gonna see how I feel about that. Elsewhere will also be in bartender because I don't need that there all the time, and I'll know where to go to find it.
Okay.
All right, they're good ones.
This episode of Connected is brought to you by Nom Nom. Don't settle when it comes to your dog's health. Make the switch to fresh food made with real ingredients and backed by science. That's Nom Nom. Nom Nom delivers fresh dog food with every portion personalized to your dog's needs, so you can bring out their best. Nom Nom's made with real whole food that you can see and recognize, without any additives or fillers that contribute to bloating and low energy. That's because Nom Nom uses the latest science and insight to make real, good food for dogs. Their nutrient-packed recipes are crafted by board-certified veterinary nutritionists, made fresh, and shipped free to your door. Nom Nom has already delivered over 40 million meals to good dogs like yours, inspiring millions of clean bowls and tail wags. This is so important, especially as your dog goes through different stages of life, right? Like what a puppy needs and what an adult dog needs. And if you're like my dog and getting elderly, their needs are different too. And Nom Nom's entire ethos is to really give you what you need for your dog's age and stage in life. And with their expertise, I know they were making the right decision for our dog, Eva Corn Dog. That's her name, Eva Corn Dog. And it's a no-brainer because Nom Nom comes with a money-back guarantee. So if your dog's tail isn't wagging within 30 days, they will refund your first order. No fillers, no nonsense, just Nom Nom. Go right now for 50% off your no-risk 2-week trial at trynom.com/connected. That's TRYNOM. trynom.com/connected for 50% off. Our thanks to Nom Nom for their support of the show and Relay FM. Most important question, Mike. Where is your dock placed?
In the middle.
Good.
Where it's supposed to be.
That's where we want it. It's more like a pallet there, I think, more than anything else, but that's cool.
It's on the right. Like a civilized person.
If you send feedback telling us where the correct placement of the dock is, we're not going to read it because this is a personal decision, and many of us believe and just know that the right side is the correct side.
Wait, you can't say it's a personal decision and then say what's correct. You can't.
Well, I can say what I want because I'm on the show.
Right. I see. Yeah. If you wanna if you want to disagree with us, start your own podcast and say it on the podcast.
9 years later, you can say it on your own podcast. No, I used to be a bit hard on people about putting the doc in the wrong place. And as I've gotten older and wiser and honestly just older, I've learned that, some people just can't be helped and they don't want to listen.
You're oscillating so wildly here right now.
Oh, well,
I'm loving it.
It's some sort of test for our listeners. So you got a bunch of stuff in here, probably a few more things than I do, but you're a professional. You have, oh no, the Mac Stories virus has gotten you.
What?
You have the App Store in your dock with the badge turned on.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Don't have an answer for it. It's a good question. I feel like the App Store, no matter what I tell it, refuses to update applications automatically.
Yes, on the Mac and the iPhone, both.
Yes. So maybe this is why I've decided to keep it, because I feel like if I'm not aware of it, like my apps are never going to get updated.
That's fair.
So what do you do? How do you keep your apps up to date if you don't see the App Store?
I just open the App Store like once a month and
Yeah,
gosh, there's 27 things in here.
Yeah, I can't live my life that way. So look, if you're telling me I need to remove it, then I'll remove it. But like the reason I keep it is I've been through this before, right? And it's just like,
yeah.
Well, there's no other way for me to update the apps, because also the notification, I never want that. All right, I don't want the notification that tells me.
No, that's the worst possible.
Because I'm never ready. Like. I'm ready for this when I'm like, let me do some chores on my Mac or whatever, right? Like I'm just tidying up some stuff, getting rid of some windows or whatever. And I'm like, I could also update some applications, so I could go and update some applications. So I think that's why I leave it there.
Okay. I think that makes sense.
What I will concede is like, I don't need Setup in the dock. I'm going to get rid of that.
Yeah, their icon's pretty good though, but I don't think it...
I think Setup actually does a better job than the Mac App Store of like updates. Like it deals with updates in the way that other Mac apps deal with updates. So like, it pops up when I use them and like, hey, this needs to be updated. Will you update it? And it's like, yeah, okay, I'll do it, right? Like, I'm used to this.
Yeah.
Where like, I kind of, even though like the Mac App Store updating flow should be easier, it isn't. Like, I actually kind of like my app to tell me it needs an update. And then I do the update, right? Because like, I've opened the app. I know it's only going to take like an extra minute and I'll be ready to do whatever it was I wanted to do in the first place. So yeah, I like that flow.
So what is your... Okay, so next you've got settings. You need that on the Mac. I use Alfred and I usually just search and hit it, but that's fine.
Yeah, but I don't need it there.
I was a guy for years, people would pile on me on Twitter because I had dock in the setting. I had settings in the dock of my iPhone and people thought it was ridiculous.
Yeah, that's bananas. We're not turning our attention to you today.
Okay.
But that's wild.
I'm curious, looking through this list, I see what I think is some rough groupings. Could you tell us a little bit if that's the case or?
Yeah, there are some groupings. So like some apps, the problem is some apps are snuck into the groups. So like that top group.
Infiltrated.
Yeah, that top group used to be like Apple stuff.
Okay.
But then Setup went in there because it was like the logical place to put the Setup icon next to the App Store icon.
Sure.
Right? But you got like, it goes Finder, App Store, Setup, Settings, Safari, Music, right? Mm-hmm. And then Sonos.
And I see why those two are together, right? You get your media playback control type stuff.
Then I've got Messages, Slack, and Discord.
Okay.
And then Notes, Obsidian, and Notion.
Yeah.
Obsidian is not going to stick around.
I was going to say, aren't you moving out of Obsidian?
I am moving. It's slow.
Okay.
Like everything new's going in and now like the old stuff is being moved out, but that's going to take a while. Then I got Reader, REDER Reader.
Yeah. Classic. It's good.
It's the best one. Todoist, MimeStream, Spark, Timery, Zoom, Logic, Audition, QuickTime, Audio Hijack, Piezo, Fission, Forecast, Overcast, FusionCast.
That's the cast section. So that's your podcast production section.
Yeah.
Why audio hijack and piezo? Just because piezo is like good for fast little stuff?
Why do I use piezo?
I mean, it looks good, but it's cool.
I use piezo. Okay, so yeah, all right, I know why. Really, this is on the MacBook. So I have this when I'm recording. So I like to have 2 recordings of every podcast, right? So when I'm recording a Zoom call, I use Zoom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And audio hijack.
Sure.
But when I use Skype, there is no Skype recording anymore.
Yeah. Call recorder is long gone.
To use audio hijack and piezo.
Okay. I understand that.
It's just frustrating to me that I can't. Yeah, it's just
the big thing you do is whatever you're recording on Skype is get rid of that. Like,
you tell him.
Come on. I'm also struck. Okay, so the way that I tend to think about the dock on the side is vertical hierarchy, and so more important things seem like kind of bubble further up. And I still do some grouping like you do, right? Like Slack and Discord and Ivory, like, there's kind of communications, they're together. I have Zoom, Audio Hijack, Logic, Forecast, and Overcast towards the bottom because those are podcast things I've seen a couple days a week. But things like Spark and MimeStream kind of lost there in the middle no man's land. And also, there's no badges on them. Is all your email checked? Like, what's your philosophy on badges on the Mac?
I'm trying to get rid of badges from everything other than messaging services. So, like, we were talking about this. I've taken badges off Todoist on my phone, and I need to take badges off Todoist on my Mac. And, like, I don't want email badges.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to get to a point in my life where I only have badges for instant messaging.
Okay. Wow, how old are you? You sounded real old there for a second.
Why?
Instant messaging.
Well, but that was it. It wasn't just like messaging. It's like for Slack, but only DMs. For iMessages, right? Do you know what I mean? So it's like what I would consider to not just be messaging, but instant messaging.
Yet you have Discord with the badge with no number.
Someone tell me how to get rid of. I can't. I feel this makes me feel like an old man. It is. I feel like it's almost impossible to get Discord to not give me some kind of badge, no matter what I do.
Agreed. Yes.
I don't want the red badge with the white dot in the middle, but I also want to get numbers.
Yeah. See, I have notifications off for Discord on the Mac. I have desktop notifications, but unread message badge turned off.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just have notifications for like a very few things, and then, but never badges. But yeah, it is Discord. I think is a little confusing in that way. I think that's totally fair. Totally fair. Discord wants your attention all the time.
Yep.
You got 2 mail apps here. MimeStream and Spark Mail. Spark Mail is for, if I can remember correctly, is relay stuff with you and Carrie, so you can have like side conversations and
my personal email. And
your personal email is in there because MimeStream doesn't do iCloud. It's just Gmail right now.
Correct.
What's in MimeStream then? Cortex stuff?
Just Cortex.
Okay.
Because they're all Gmail accounts.
Okay. MimeStream is really good. It's so good.
I'm kind of like I'm in this like I'm in like a difficult phase of email again because it's like now I'm getting enough email. Like part of the reason I was able to keep the apps separate was because I wasn't getting a lot of email through the Cortex email, but now I'm dealing with more of that. Yeah. And so like I have to use the Gmail app on my iPhone. And so I'm kind of like, should I just add it onto Spark? But I really don't want to do that. I'm in a bad email. I'm always in a bad email spot, right? And like right now is bad. Stephen, I'm thinking like, I don't know if I can do this, but like, can I turn off notifications for email? Like I feel like maybe I could do that, but I don't know. I'm scared. But like, I feel like I'm getting closer to the point where I can do that, and I would love to do that, but I can't bring myself to do that. But I don't. If I'm not being honest with myself, I don't think I need it. But I think the main issue I would find is like triaging. Like I triage email from notifications all the time.
Literally something came in when you were talking. I deleted it from the notification. Like this is gone.
Exactly.
Forever.
So I feel like otherwise, every time I sit down and open my email, it's gonna be like right. Like, it's gonna be like too much.
Do you subscribe to the thing? I know some people do this, and it's madness to me. We're like, I'm only gonna look at my email between 1 and 3 p.m.
No.
Yeah,
No. Because do you know why? I exist in the real world.
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
I tried this.
Yeah.
I tried this.
We have
like,
a company. People need us.
Yeah, I tried this when I worked at the bank.
Yeah, well, bank's not a real
I
company.
mean, it worked. It worked because I just didn't care. So that's the way to do it. You know what I mean? If you just don't care, then like you can get away with a lot of things. But that wasn't.
Yeah.
Like that was the thing I could do then. But now I kind of like I care, so I don't. You know. But yeah, no, I would like to. I'm thinking about it. Like, obviously, I don't know why, but like, I'm thinking about a lot of things with notifications right now. Like, nothing's happened. I'm just like, it's just things are popping. I'm like, like I've opened Pandora's box, right? Like, I thought of one thing, so I'm like, well, what about this other thing as well, right?
I noticed a couple of things here that I just have a couple questions about. Parcel and shortcuts. Are you using them enough for them to take up Docker estate?
I don't know why they're there.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you a question too. I want to see if you have this issue, and I don't know why this happens. When I get notifications from Parcel on my Mac, when I clear them, it opens the app.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
Why? How? How and why? No other app that I use does this. But if I press the X button, it opens Parcel. Why does that happen?
I don't know. Is it a Catalyst app? Maybe that's like a weird.
I don't know. But do you have this happen? Have you ever noticed this?
Yes, I do.
Isn't that strange?
It is weird.
Like I don't use any other application where this happens because it also just feels like who's that for? You know what I mean? Like who's that for? I've said no, I don't want it. Like, but you open the app? Like that doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
I blame notifications on the Mac for this, by the way, because the system is bad.
It's true. It's true. You also have things down here like floating out. I guess. Well, first of all, is numbers always there, or is it there just because it's open at the moment?
Numbers is always there now.
Wow, big business boy.
Yeah.
And you've got things. What's going on in things, and why is it not with Todoist?
Technically, things is part of the podcast production workflow.
Okay.
But like, so down at the bottom there's just a bunch of miscellaneous stuff, right? Underneath Pixelmator Pro, it's just like, here's a bunch of stuff, you know? Mm-hmm. Numbers is part of that. But yes, things is just down there. Things is just living its life. I don't think I want, it doesn't make sense to me to put it up with Todoist because it isn't like my other apps.
Right, it's not a daily. Yeah.
It's not a daily. It's like once a month.
And you have one stack down there that I assume is the download stack. You got a PDF or something that's like failed downloading. It's like progress bar sticking in there.
Actually, this is just another weird bug I have on the Mac. My downloads folder always has a like in progress.
Oh no!
There's nothing I can do about it. It seems like.
Yeah. Well, you need a new computer.
Yeah. Yeah, but this isn't the computer I want to change.
Yeah. So I am a huge fan of the download stack. I use it all the time.
It's fantastic.
I do, however, before at some point this changed, but it's in the past. It would only show like the most recent thing. There is the icon, or by sorted alphabetically, and I didn't like that because it meant the download stack looked different over time, and I found that to be a little troubling. And so I used to have a folder with the download icon pasted onto it, and the folder was named *****. And so I sorted by name, and it was always there. But now, I don't know when this changed. At some point, they changed it where you can display as a folder. So if you look at my screenshot, you just see the little downloads folder down there, and I can just go in there when I need it. It's much cleaner.
Yeah.
And it would hide your janky, broken PDF situation, although it is kind of funny.
Well, no, because it's like there is no thing.
Well, at least it wouldn't be the icon in the
but I actually kind of like that because then it forces me to deal with the things that are in there.
Okay.
Right? Because
Sure.
otherwise it gets super full. Like one day we need to talk about like what it's like to work with Stephen Hackett when it comes to file management.
It's really good. Everything's nicely organized
No,
and arranged.
it's not. No, it's not really good because it's like imagine a world where there's alphabetical sorting except where there isn't.
Sometimes things get AAA at the beginning because they need to be at the top. Other than that,
or underscores, or like stars. Like this is what it's like. Like the just.
So one example right now. Okay, so Dropbox, Relay FM Admin, St. Jude, campaigns. The folders are 2019, 2020, 21, 2022, 2023 St. Jude. I named it that, so in the sidebar, I don't have a folder that just says 2023.
Yeah,
but when it comes out of the sidebar, I'll change it back.
Understand you?
Just be a year.
You share all this stuff with me, you know?
Yeah,
and
but you seem fine with it.
Do I? I didn't even know this one. Like I've used it for like this. I feel like that the St. Jude folder is very much your domain, except for a folder that I just added to that one, which is very rare that I put things in there, but there's something in there which I'm very excited about it.
Oh,
it's the first
yes,
folder,
yes.
and that is gonna. If we can pull this one off, oh boy, it's gonna be a fun time around here. But like mine is like we have a folder Relay FM, like Dropbox, Relay FM, branding _ final art. And then inside of that, _PNG is the top folders.
Yeah, that's legacy from a previous designer who I need to clean that up. The branding folder is bad. I will give you that.
Yeah, but I know you want it there at the top. Like
I do.
So you'll just find another. You'll just if you don't call it underscore, you just put AAA final art. Like
AAA final art.
It's not like that's better. It's not like that's better.
Oh man. Oh, I just found this funny stuff in this branding folder. Okay.
Oh, there's so much stuff. There's just like a bunch of stuff in here.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
So what happens when your company is nearly a decade old? So like there's gonna be weird stuff instead of the final artwork folder.
Yeah. Some of it's not final at all, is what we're saying. Overall, I feel like your dock is in much better shape than your menu bar.
Okay.
And I feel like I understand your 2-laptop life, even though I think it should be desktop and a laptop, but I understand why you're putting that off. This isn't as much madness as I thought it would be.
There are things that you haven't asked me about.
What do you want to be asked about?
I don't want to be asked about it, but you're like, tell me about your backup situation. Like that's it.
Tell me about your backup situation. Well, we talked about it. You have Time Machine. Is that on both computers or just one?
Nah.
Just on the Air?
Nah. Nah, man. I have Time Machine on the MacBook Pro.
But not the computer that you're actually working on.
I don't even know what the Time Machine... Oh, wait. No, wait. Did I change that? Hang on. Wait. Stop. Be right back.
Where's he going?
Yeah, there's no Time Machine, but you should blame Apple for it, really. Because they didn't put enough USB-C ports in the back of the studio display.
If only there was a way to get more ports that you'd already paid for.
I don't want a dock on that desk. I don't want it.
You could set up a wireless Time Machine to like a... Okay, so if you have a desktop, here's the thing. You get a desktop for your recording machine. You put a big SSD off the back of it, and you make that a Time Machine target for your other computer. And it just backs up over the network.
I don't fully know what that means, but I have no doubt that I can look into it.
I can set it up for you. Just fly me over. Fly me over, baby.
Yeah, all right, okay. We'll do that. But maybe by the time...
Maybe next year.
Yeah, that'd be a great idea. By the time you come to London, I'll have bought a Mac Studio. How about that?
Okay.
I can guarantee all of that. And then you can come to the studio. You can come to Mega Studio, and you can hook me up. Because I don't fully understand what you're asking of me, but it sounds like a good thing.
Yeah. Look, I've done the touristy stuff in London because I was there for your wedding. Next time I come back, it's just going to be to wire things up in your office.
Sounds like a great time.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I know you are. I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't want you all up in here messing with things. You're not going to like the cable management.
No, I've seen pictures. We're not even touching your PC today. And it's beyond my...
You're not going to like the cable management down here.
I guess my big...
No, the PC's cable management's pretty good. It's like the...
I've seen pictures of the floor and all the switches, the power cables.
Oh yeah, that's the problem. Like the multiple like extension cords plugged into extension cords.
Mm-hmm.
Is that dangerous?
It feels dangerous.
But they should let you do it, right? If it was dangerous.
I mean, you can drive at 90 miles an hour, but you shouldn't, you know?
I'm sure it's fine.
I guess my biggest question goes back to the two machines. And we've touched on it. We danced around it a little bit. But, you know, what is sort of your methodology or your, I've said the word philosophy a bunch, but your philosophy for keeping those two machines the same? Like, I could see...
Bad. It's bad.
I see two roads. One, like you keep them identical and it's just a pain. Or the recording machine is so different, like it's really just recording. Like it doesn't have your email and it doesn't have your whatever you're doing in things.
Yeah, I thought about
you're
that
kind of in
once,
between,
but that
I guess.
doesn't. Yeah, and also like I've kind of like the way that my philosophy for it now, because I tried both, keep it exact and keep it separate. And realistically now it's just like it's neither, right? Where it's and that's kind of the point of it. Like if there are big changes, like I'll make those changes. Like I'm making changes to the dock, and like my docks are mostly the same on machine to machine, and so I'll make those changes because that's just like muscle memory stuff, right? So like I'll make those changes in both places. It is hilarious to me now looking up at my menu bar and seeing that I have the power on this MacBook Pro.
You don't need that.
Like I have the battery icon there.
You don't need that.
This machine is never unplugged. That's hilarious. But like I don't try to run them super close, because if I try and do that, it's just an exercise in frustration. Yeah. Because there is just no good way to do that. And so I kind of treat it as a little bit in the middle, where big fundamental changes I'll try and keep in sync across both machines, but otherwise I will operate them kind of differently.
Like, do you remember when we started Relay, I was still at my job and I recorded in like that podcast studio in the building that like some startup had built that I borrowed from them once a week?
I don't think I do remember that.
And then one day I came in, they just like torn it down and didn't tell me, even though like I'd paid for part of it. And cool. Thanks, guys.
Oh my God, that is a blast from the past. I remember it now, you're telling me.
A long time ago.
For some reason in my memory, you were just recording at the office, but like you were.
Yeah, this was like an incubator, and they built a little studio, and I'd helped them, and part of the deal was I got to use it. And then one day they just torn it out. Oh, cool. Thanks for texting me. You know, my office is only 3 stories above you. You could just come up and told me. In that situation, I was using truly a recording computer. That computer was there all the time. I just had my own user on it. And like it was kind of nice that all I had on the dock was like Safari, Audio Hijack Pro, I guess at the time, and Skype. Like it was like it's like an appliance almost. And maybe that would help the frustration if you treated them like really differently. Like this one is kind of a moat unto itself, but something to think about.
I am going to think about that actually.
And you could try it by just creating a new user, and then.
I'm terrified of creating a new user.
It's no big deal.
Yeah, but like there are settings, right? They're not going to sync.
That's true.
Like what happens the first time I open Logic?
Oh yeah, it's not going to know anything about you. But
yeah, and I don't want to live in that world.
But are you opening Logic on the recording computer? You know?
Yes, where I edit.
So you're editing on the recording computer. God, I think that fell through the cracks in my brain. Okay.
I didn't say it, but yes, it's the production machine, right? Like I'm editing.
Okay, so then why do you have Logic and all that stuff on your MacBook Air? Why is that in the dock?
Because I do also sometimes edit on the MacBook Air. I guess it doesn't need to be in the dock though, does it? Yeah, I
honestly don't need Logic in the dock because I always start Logic with a template file in Finder, but it's just there.
So do I, but I just like to know it's there.
Well, if someone like looks over your shoulder, like, oh, that guy, he edits, you know? Big editor energy.
Yeah. Wow, look at all these audio apps. He must be good.
The dock is full of stuff that I never heard of.
Full of audio apps I've never heard of.
All in all, I think you're in good shape. Think about some tidying up.
All right.
Think about Time Machine. Think about...
Well, no, I'm going to wait for Time Machine. You got to come here and do it.
Think about roping off the recording machine a little bit better.
Well, I'm going to think harder about buying a new computer.
That too. Yeah, I mean, it's a good time to start over, you know? Mac Studio.
I wouldn't do that. Wouldn't do that.
I would look at an M2 Pro Mac Mini. That may be enough. It may not be enough I/O. That may be the only problem.
No, I want to do Mac Studio. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll just stay with this MacBook Pro.
As the value slowly leaks out of the back.
Yeah. I mean, a computer that leaks, that's no problem.
Well, I think that does it for this week. If you want to find the stories we spoke about and links to a bunch of apps and screenshots that we went through on Myke's audit, check out the show notes in your podcast player. They're also on the web at relay.fm/connected/462. You can also submit feedback or follow up. There's a button there in your app and a link on the website to do that. Again, we're not going to be addressing dock placement, but everything else I think is open season. You can find us online.
Maybe you should create like a dock placement button and you could just straight up delete everything that goes.
It just goes to Analog's feedback form.
Yeah.
You can find us online. We're on Threads. Myke is iMyke, IMYKE. He is also the host of a bunch of other great shows here on the Relay FM podcast network, and he's the co-founder of Cortex Brand. You can follow me on Threads as ISMH86, and you can find me on Mac Power Users each and every Sunday. This episode coming up about window management. It's really good. I think if you're looking for a window manager solution, that episode will be for you. You can also find my writing over at 512pixels.net. Federico is not here, but send him a description of your third most used emoji. On Mastodon, he is there as Vitici at macstories.net, like we said. I'd like to thank our sponsors this week, ExpressVPN, Indeed, and NomNom. Until next time, Myke, say goodbye.
Cheerio.
Bye, y'all.